hope you enjoyed the cupping. I've got something sad to say. I'm not as funny as Jackie, so you'll have to bear with me. But our last talk is from Coopedota, and we have the delight of having Monserrat here. Coopedota we bought since 2014, and is now like a core product in our supply range. So please, round of applause for Monserrat.
Thank you very much. My name is Monserrat Hernández Sánchez. I'm from Tarrazú coffee region, fourth generation of coffee producers, and also part of the management team of Coopedota. Here today, I'm with Cristian Chinchilla, the general manager of the cooperative, and with Alex Madrigal, that is coffee producer and part of the board of directors of Coopedota. We are very proud to share with you a little bit about the Coopedota, the story, and some of the challenges, and because of that, the projects that we have been working in the last year. We always like to start with this picture because it represents the beginning of our cooperative. There were 96 coffee producers, the brave ones who started this project back in 1960. And you can see it in the picture, but from these 96 coffee producers, 10 of them were women. So women have been there since the foundation, since the beginning of our cooperative, with a very important role in Coopedota. Right now, we are very proud to say that we are 100 coffee producers, part of the cooperatives, and 1,000 families that benefit directly from the cooperative. We are in Tarrazú coffee region, and the good thing about the place where we are is that all the economy is surrounded around coffee. So good years for coffee is a good year for all the region, and the cooperatives that are based in Tarrazú coffee region are very important for the sustainability of all the coffee producers within the region. We are a social solidary economic model. That means that the 1,000 coffee producers are the owners of the cooperative. They are the ones who choose the board of directors, and the board of directors hire the management team to administrate the cooperative. We are an international cooperative. We love this picture because this represents the best time of the year for us. Our coffee producers come to the cooperative, they bring the cherries to us, and the cooperative is in charge of doing all the milling process, all the storage of the coffee, the final preparation of the coffee, and we export our coffee from the cooperative to the world. We are 100% quality, Coopedota's quality, and what we would like to do is to have very long-term relationships with our clients internationally, and to be able to give a standardized coffee year by year, because every year crops are quite different, sometimes because of the weather, sometimes because of the different conditions, the yield that we have, and there are a lot of things that we need to face as coffee producers, and of course in the milling process. So we try to bring a very good profile, a very good coffee each by year to our customers so that they can drink Coopedota's coffee around the world. We are well known in part of our blood and who we are is not only the quality of our coffee, but also the sustainability through all the coffee chain. We love this picture because this picture was taken in Coopedota's farm. Coopedota owns 2 farms that are more for sharing the knowledge with the coffee producers. We need to apply the correct practices so that they can see how we can share the knowledge together with them. I would like to so that you can pay a little bit of attention of how the 1,000 coffee producers that are part of the cooperative are right now. you see that Coopedota is a very big cooperative, and you see this big milling process and everything, but at the end, the majority of our coffee producers, they are very small producers that only through the cooperative they are able to find a very good price, a very fair price, and that is very important to us because the challenge is to help them year by year so that they can survive, so that they can have profit in the business that they are right now. And for example, in here also another interesting fact that we have in our cooperative is that the majority of our coffee producers are between 36 and 60 years old. So this means that we have a very huge challenge trying to engage the new generations. Only 140 coffee producers are between 18 and 35 years old. And we have 355 coffee producers that are between 61 and 101 years old. Yes, yes. So it's impressive. They stay being part of the cooperative. Of course, they are not in their farms at that age, but they are still part of us. And it's quite important for us to be able to create a strong relationship with all of our coffee producers according to the needs that they have. And also another interesting data that we have is that from the 1,000 coffee producers, we have almost 300 coffee producers that are women, already part of the cooperative. I will get back to those numbers later. In terms of the certifications, our commitment in terms of the environment has been part of the cooperative since the beginning. Since 2007, we have been Rainforest Alliance certified, and year by year we need to comply with everything that the certifications require. It's a part of our coffee producers, around 100, the ones that are certified, but with them, we try to give a continuous follow-up within the whole regulation, not only in terms of the environment, but also in terms of the social part that this certification has, that it's very important for us. And after doing a lot of research in terms of the carbon neutral certifications, we were able to certify the cooperative on 2011. For us, it has been quite a journey that started first trying to see how was the footprint that we were putting into the environment, because in terms of the cooperative, the responsibility is huge. We are in all the coffee chain. So we need to certify our coffee, or to see what was the impact of the coffee farms in the environment, in the footprint that we were putting there, with the fertilizers, with all the products that we apply year by year. In terms of the milling process, we use a lot of water, we use wood, we use electricity, so we need to implement, not only to measure the impact, but also to implement very good projects to try to decrease the consumption. That's why we already have solar panels in terms of decreasing the electricity, not only for the mill, but for all the cooperative. We also use our ovens with the coffee parchment and with a small percentage of wood to dry all the coffee process. And continuously, year by year, we try to create technologies in the milling process to decrease the water consumption also. We also do all the final preparation of the exports. We even measure the impact of the transportation of the coffee from our facility that it's in Dota, in Santa Maria de Dota, until the port that we deliver the coffee. So it's also part of the certification. We have our own roastery. We have a coffee shop that it's also certified. And we have been certified by Carbon Clear Company, an international company, since 2011. So each year we still, of course, because of the business that we are, to compensate with certificates to be able to be carbon neutral, certified each year. Since 2014, we are Blue Black certified, that it's an internal local certification that it's granted by the Ministry of Agriculture in Costa Rica. And we are also Esencial Costa Rica, that it's a country brand that certifies the origin, innovation, the social part of the products, and that help us to be promoted internationally also. These are some of the countries, the most important countries where we export right now. Our biggest market currently is the US, followed by Europe, and then we have Australia and Japan and Taiwan. For us, it's very important to be there with our coffee and to be able to bring the story of our coffee producers to the world. This is to explain a little bit about the journeys within the years in 4 specific stages of Coopedota. First, we have since 1960 until 1995, like the founders stage, where we have our green coffee business, but also a supply store so that our coffee producers can have the fertilizers and all the products that they need in their farms at a very good price for them. And it was in 1995 that we were able to bring the coffee to our coffee producers. We started on a small roastery, and because of that, they were able to try their own coffee, because in the past, the coffee was exported, and we would go to the pulperia or to the mini market that we have locally to purchase coffee that we didn't know at the end, roasted with sugar. So it was a very important step for us. And from then we started with our coffee school, a coffee shop, the coffee tour, and it was in 2017 that we started a reinvention of our brand and trying to bring that to tell our story in a different way for our coffee producers, for our clients internationally also. And from 2021 until the present, what we have been realized in the past year is that we have been accomplished as a cooperative a lot of things, but the most important part and the thing that we treasure the most is the people that is behind our coffee. The 1,000 coffee producers are very important and the most important part for us, and it's why we work. But also we have the employees that help us, that right now are 110 people working for the cooperative. And we also have our clients, that our clients are the ones who give us this sustainability in our business year by year. This is a small video to show you a little bit about us.
In the past 60 years, we have gone from exporting coffee to running a robust coffee business dedicated to bringing you the finest coffee from bean to cup. Today, Coopedota is a coffee producer, roaster, exporter, and has one of the best coffee shops in the world. As our company has grown throughout the years, we have stayed committed to having a carbon-neutral facility. This commitment has been recognized worldwide and has led to us receiving many certifications, such as the Rainforest Alliance and the CO2 Neutral label. Our philosophy is constant growth and improvement, and thanks to the support and trust of 900 small associated producers. Today, Coopedota is one of the most recognized gourmet coffee companies in the world. Our journey so far and continued dedication to responsible and quality coffee production allows us to say with complete confidence that 60 years is only the beginning.
And this is a little bit of how we represent who we are. We are based in a perfect valley surrounded by mountains with a river in the middle and the people that it's part of our cooperative. Of course, we face year by year a lot of challenge that we share a lot in this room during this day. And what we think that is going to be a very big challenge for us is the farm's productivity that we have, because we have very small coffee producers, and when you see like the whole region, the whole coffee region, the average of production per hectare is of 21 coffee fanegas. We call fanegas because we measure the coffee for the coffee producers in volume, but 1 fanega equals to 1 coffee quintal, and 1 coffee quintal is equal to 46 kilograms of green coffee. So it's an average that it's quite low. It's the highest or one of the highest in the country, but there is a lot of potential that we still have with our coffee producers. Because if you see the average of the age of the plants is between 15 years old. So there are plants that need to be having a very good renovation system so that we can see in the future better results for the coffee producers. Because to purchase land in the coffee region that we are, it can be very expensive. So we think that the way of creating more income from them will start in the productivity in their farms. Of course, sustainability is part of what we work year by year in terms of the social, the human, the economic, and also the environmental sustainability. Because we know that we cannot talk only about quality sustainability if our coffee producers are not having a good profit in their business and a good result in their part of the business. And we also think that all of these challenges, we all share it in the different parts of the chain where we are. The financing that for us, we finance our coffee on dollars, and the payment is in dollar, but at the end, everything in Costa Rica has to be passed and the payment to the coffee producers in colones. So how strong the local currency is, it has a lot of impact in the results year by year for the payment that we gave to our coffee producers. The exchange rate, the market price, of course, all the volatility that we are facing in the past years, it's quite difficult to make decisions, not only for us as a cooperative, but also for everybody that it's in the process, the exporters, everybody that it's the importers, you as roasters also, has to deal with this year by year. And the cost of production, that for us, cost of production in Costa Rica is quite high. We also produce coffee in highest lands, in slopes. Coffee needs to be hand-picked, and for us, the people that come for the process of picking comes from Panama and Nicaragua, most of them, and a small part are Costa Ricans. So we need to even handle the transportations from the borders to the coffee producing areas to be able to have the coffee picked year by year. And sometimes, because we are the last coffee region to be in the main mature area, we are the last one. It's quite difficult because the coffee pickers wants to come back home, and they start like telling the coffee producers, "We need to pick the coffee right now because we need to come back home." So they get in a hurry where the coffee producer also start like in a very challenging of not having the time to pick the coffee in the right maturation time if he doesn't have or she doesn't have the coffee pickers in the plantations. We also give them social security to all the people that come, to all the people that works in the farms. And that's very important for us to give them very good health conditions in case that anything happened during the different process of the production. And in terms of climate change, before, a few years ago in Costa Rica, it was quite common to have a rainy season and a summer time for us that it's the sun without rain. That was the two stages that we were facing, and it was easier for the coffee producers and for everybody knows when will be the fertilization periods according to the rains, and a very good summertime to pick up the cherries. This has been happening, a huge problem in the last two crops. The last crop, we were in the middle of January when you are picking the most mature beans, having flowers together with mature beans and a little bit of unripe beans. And this never have happened before, at least in our region, to have this problem. So some of the rains at the beginning of March came too early. In the highest lands of coffee production, they still have some beans. So they need to hurry up to pick all the beans, no matter if they were green, because they need to leave the plant to be prepared for the flowering stage. So that has been very difficult for all of us to try to have an average of the production and to try to make the estimations right because of that. It's affecting us on pest, disease, also knowing how to apply the fertilizing periods. And another thing that we think that is going to be crucial for the future of the cooperative is to try to engage more and more the next generations in the business, try to bring them back. We realize that we have two types of young coffee producers, the ones who stayed at the region and receive the farms from their parents, and they are working in their farms. And another ones that had the opportunity to go to the city to study and never come back and inherit the land, but they don't know exactly much about the coffee production. So we need to bring them to understand the importance of the model and to try to innovate to attract them a little bit more. And in terms of those challenges, we have been working in the last year in 3 specific projects. One is to procure an economic stability of Coopedota's coffee producers. This is a project that we are working together with Cruza and Katy, and it's in the process of being established. And what we want to do is to try to improve the productivity per hectare within our coffee producers. Give them, and through innovation, give them good, high quality coffee varieties for the renovation programs, to give them the finance also that they need, and try to also give them more tools in the decision making in the different stages of the coffee plantations, within the fertilizer, within the things that they need to apply. What happens with a very rainy season, El Niño, La Niña, we were talking about that during the break. How can we face that together with them? And how we can give them also all the assistance that we can with our agronomical team so that they can see us as a first option and not the commercial people that only wants to sell a product and not give them the thing that they need, but the thing that has a commercial party they require. So we are working in that project that hopefully we will have it more in advance next year. And another thing that we have been looking is how women have been in the coffee business since the beginning. For us, we like to say that the quality of the coffee has been always in the hands of women. They were the ones who were picking the coffee. They were the ones who were there in the whole part of the business. They were the ones who were drying the coffee in the patio to have them roasted in their kitchen and to give and prepare the coffee even for everybody in the family. They were the ones preparing the lunch for everybody in the farms. And we have been seeing also that there is a lot of more participation of women, more active administrating their farms. Some of them because they choose to do it, and another ones because they have to do it. And when we realized that there were already 300 women part of the cooperatives, together with the management and with the board of directors, we realized that we need to do something about it. We needed to tell their story, to be able to ask them what they need from Coopedota. That we think that is the most important part, because sometimes we can think that they will love or require something specific, but they are the ones who are telling us what they want for the cooperative. We are having more participation in the board of directors with women, young women that are already part of the board of directors and the committees, and that's how we create Microdota Mujer. So we are 10 members of Coopedota Mujer committee, 9 women, mostly coffee producers, the agronomists, that it's part of our team, and Christian Chinchilla, the general manager, that is the only man allowed in there. Because he needs to give us the blessing, the blessing so that we can start the new projects. And in the first meeting, we were just inviting the 300, and we received 30 of them. And in the meeting, there was Christian and I, and they were telling Christian, if you are doing something for us, it has to be for real. It cannot be only this activity that we are right now, because if this is the first time that Coopedota is taking into account us as women, it has to be for real. So we did, okay. we will for sure. And it was quite nice that they were be able to share the challenges that they were facing already in the cooperative and that we didn't know about it. How difficult it is for them to be in an activity where there are 30 men and only 2 women, and to be able to speak up or saying, I don't understand, to the agronomists, there are all men also, I don't understand what you are telling me in this lesson. And even if I have my father on my side, I don't want my father to say, why do you don't know that? So they are asking us to have lessons, and they're very interested in the coffee business, and some of them are already in a very good stage in which they can share to the other women the good practices that they are putting into the coffee farms. We don't need to be the ones to tell them what to do, because already in the group there are a lot of women producing a very good quality, are being part already of the Microdota program of Coopedota, because when we see the numbers, we realize that from the 55 coffee producers that were already part of the Microdota program, 32 were women. So it was quite easy to be able to say, let's have, because they asked us to do it, let's have a coffee from us, a coffee from women. The only thing that we had to do in the administration was to say, Fridays are for women. All the women come on Fridays to the micro mill facility that we have, and we took their cherries. We make a different process. We did a honey process, because what we wanted to represent, it's a reborn of the women in coffee, because we acknowledge them. They have been there since the beginning, but we want to tell the story right now. So, and that's how all the image of the coffee started. A woman with the wings of a bee, because we think that we are a lot of women with one objective, that it's being a good coffee producer in terms of the quality, the sustainability, and be together for them. And we want the cooperative to be the one that brings us together, that bring this tribe together and help them in everything that they need. And that's how the project was born. And it was on March 8th, in commemorating the International Women's Day, that we launched to the market the coffee Microdota Mujer. This is a small video of them. They are fighters. They transform everything. They inspire us. They protect us. And reborning together in the coffee business. And we think that for Coopedota, we just need to be there for them, so that we could be the ones who help them in all the projects and all the needs that they have to become and to establish as a new coffee producers. It was quite interesting because they were women that were already administrating the farms, doing all the work in the farms, but they delivered the coffee under the name of their husband or their son. And some of them were telling us, if I tried to associate before, but what different would it make if I put it under his name or under my name? And after the project was launched, they came to become associates just to be able to deliver the coffee in the program, in the Microdota program. So we are also seeing a lot of young women that are right now inheriting the land that are starting to become part of the cooperative also. So we need that this is also a project that can help us with the next one that we are starting to grow, to work, that it's how we connect more with the new generations. We took Microdota Mujer and how we did things in this project, and we are replicating in the same way for Coopedota's new generations. We pick young coffee producers between 18 and 35 years old that were already part of the cooperative. The board of directors give us the go to create this committee. And we sit down, Christine and I again, with them so that they can tell us what they need from Coopedota and to start creating new projects. The first meeting with them was this month, at the beginning of this month. So it's quite recently, and we are still in the process where they are giving us all the feedback of what they want from Coopedota. Right now, there are 140 young coffee producers between those ages, part of the cooperatives, and 12 members of the committee of new generations of Coopedota. In the group, we realized that we have the two profiles that I was telling you before, the ones that are working in the farms and the ones that went and are working on another thing or are in the university right now, and they are already inherit some part of the land, and that's why they're able to be part of the cooperative, but they are not working inside of the cooperatives. And it was quite shocking. One of them that it's part of one internal committee of the cooperative that it's in his 20s, that for him, he and his two sisters went to study and were establishing their careers. And in between that, a couple of years ago, their father passed away. And the father passed away with all the knowledge of the farms and all the knowledge of the process within him. And he was sharing with us, with the group, how challenging was that, and how difficult was for them, for all the family, to face not only the loss of his father, but also how do we do with these coffee farms? Should we keep them or should we sell them? What should we do? And what they did was to try to stay more closer to the cooperative to try to have some help. So they are telling us that it's very important for them to have technological tools to control the harvest and the farms year by year, so that they can be able to see, if I apply something that makes me very good results these years, I want to be able to apply that and to see how will be for the next crops, to be able of having my costs, to have my expenses, my profit in one tool that I will be able to see how I can progress within the farms. To engage more young coffee producers with marketing and social media. They want to see, to be seen in our social media, in our videos and things that we already are making on a daily basis. They say that it's very important to decrease the gap between the generations and to be able to share the knowledge between each other, because sometimes what I have to add for the coffee production or the ideas that I have, my father doesn't feel like they're good. And I don't feel like the language that we're speaking is quite different. And how we can sit down and, I don't know, maybe with the cooperative in the middle to be able to join them together and to find the best of both generations in the process. More activities for them, and to have more knowledge in terms of the production and the coffee industry is what they need from Coopedota. We think that it's a huge responsibility for us as a cooperative to try to engage them, but it's also important to have it in all the coffee process. And in here, there is a video of, vamos a ver, of a second generation of coffee producers. With our learning, he says. And if the land talks, it will tell us a lot of things. Look how lovely is this land. You can see the worms in it. It's fertile, a fertile land. Look. The land is blessed if we work it with love. This is Alexis Agüero Maña. We call him Cascarita. He's an associate of Coopedota. And what we want is to try to bring this knowledge. We cannot lose this knowledge. We all are here sitting in this meeting room because of them, because they are producing that land, because of the coffee that they are producing. For us in Coopedota and for all the coffee producers around the world. So this is where we are. This is Coopedota. Coopedota is right in the middle of that perfect valley, surrounded by mountains, surrounded by coffee. We are blessed to be in a place where 81% of the land, it's a protected area. And we still are able to produce a very good sustainability coffee. And we will be more than glad to have you whenever you have the opportunity of being in Costa Rica to take a quick few days at least in Coopedota so that we can share a little bit more about this. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Monserrat. They're definitely leading the way in Costa Rica with sustainability. And leading on from that, what are the biggest struggles you have with your younger producers? You mentioned that half of them stay on the farm, but the rest go to the city. How do you get them back? Does the coffee shop help?
Yes.
Let them see the production that they could be having?
Actually, we have seen that it's very common that the younger generations start like paying more attention in the business, in the coffee shops or in the coffee school, having barista lessons. We are seeing more and more young generations of coffee producers interested in learning copying and learning more about coffee varieties and exotic coffee varieties. And we think that that is a very good start. A very good start of put attention into the business. We work together also in the cooperative with the high school, and we have a program, a 2-year program that it's called Coffee Specialist, in which we take the kids from the high school, and for 2 years they receive lessons in the farms with our agronomist, in the milling process with the administrator of the mill, in copying, in barista lessons, and everything, and we try to engage in more and more with us. It's a huge challenge because normally what the new generations had about the coffee production, it's sometimes a little bit negative because they taught us that you will have a better life if you will go to the city and study. and go there, study there, live there in the city. And it's only if you are part of a cooperative, or in my case, that I start working in the cooperative, I realize how important the model is and how important it is to learn about the coffee production, because if I hopefully inherit some coffee plants in the future, I will love to be able to administrate the farm to a state with the inherited, not to sell that land, and hopefully to be part of Coopedota Mujer program, maybe. But we think that we need to inspire more those young generations to feel like familiar with the model, with the cooperative, to teach them more, not only of this part of the project, of the process when you start in the roasted industry, but also to learn more about the lands, because it's a very big administration, the land, to be able to have a good profitability. And sometimes, I don't know, depending on the amount, you can be more profitable in the farm that maybe in the city with the high cost and everything that you need to face there. So that's what we are trying to create together with them, not by ourselves as the administrators of the cooperative, but so that they can give us the feedback of what they need from us. Because the new generations live in a world where the cooperatives were in the region giving sustainability to everybody. Because no matter if you are or not part of the cooperative, a good pricing is because of the cooperative. If somebody comes to the region and say, I will pay you, I don't know how much, more than the cooperative, more than Coopedota, more than our friend Coopetara. So it's how it works in the region. And we need to strengthen more and more.
Make a living outside coffee as well, or mainly coffee? I'm talking about Dota.
The majority of the coffee producers live for coffee, but we also are very good producers of high altitude fruits. So in Dota, in the valley, you are able to produce strawberries, plum, avocado. We have some coffee producers that produce avocado and coffee. A lot of dairy also, cows to make dairy products, or also, las ovejas, I forgot, sheep to make also dairy products. So some of them has two different ways of income, but the little ones, the majority of them lives off coffee.
Does anyone else have a question? Don't be shy.
Thanks. You talked earlier on about you had some projects, and you talked about one where you were looking to improve productivity, which is quite interesting, because with a lot of organisations that express an interest in coffee, it's a bit of a dirty word when they talk about productivity. But I didn't know whether you could talk a little bit more about whether you have any specific goals or objectives within that sort of project that you're looking to sort of achieve.
Yes, actually we are working in three different areas to try to bring innovation projects within the cooperative, in which we can face the challenges of climate change, and also try to bring good coffee varieties that are sustainable for the coffee producers. Because right now in a world where there are a lot of coffee varieties and some exotic coffee varieties, some of them can be a trend to the market, but not necessarily sustainable for the production and for the coffee producers. So we need to be very careful in which coffee varieties we will be recommending to our coffee producers, because we are here for them and we are the ones in charge in commercializing also that coffee. And we need them to have a safe income year by year. So that will be a part of that program. We already have in our coffee farms rehearsal of coffee varieties, of good productivity, good cupping that we have been trying for 6 years. So that we can see how they will behave and to see if they will be something that we will be able to recommend for them. Mostly what we have in the region is the Caturra and Catuai, and it's what has been giving very good results to the coffee producers. So what we need to do is to give them more assistance with that. Part of the project, there is a specific finance to be able to start the renovation program also within the cooperative. We already work with very good conditions for the renovation of the farming in the cooperative, and together with this project, we will be having more finance for them in their coffee farms. And we need to change also all of the cultural practices that we have in the region, because for us, because of the conditions in our farms, the altitudes that we face, anything that we do in the coffee farms, you can, I don't know, a plant lasts at least 4 years to have a very good production, or more depending on the variety. So we are like very scared sometimes of doing a very good pruning, because we are scared of that will decrease the volume of productivity instead of giving a very good end result. So we need to work a lot in changing a little bit that mentality, because we have a lot of very old coffee plantations that we need to start renovating with a very good assistance from the cooperative. So the whole project will be taking into consideration those things.
Anyone else got a question?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
My question is actually for everybody in the room. I want to ask now because I'm not sure if there will be another opportunity to ask. And this is regarding one of the challenges being faced by Coopedota, which is passing on the farming of coffee to the next generation. I want to believe that this is a major challenge for every coffee producer across the world.
Yes.
And which is going to actually affect the future of coffee. Even the gentleman on the street holding that cup of coffee. So if people, young ones, are leaving the farms for the city, is there a way we can make sure that, how can we get this to bodies like the ICO to have projects in every country, probably work with governments, and make sure, like what we have in the Silicon Valley, in the IT world, and Google, for example. I learned that if you work in Google, you really you don't need anything outside. You have hotels, it's on an expanse of land, you want to go to the pub, everything is there, you have the university. Can we have a project like this in most of our farms, like a settlement or community, such that whatever and everything that is in the city can be there, and then we can have less migration of young farmers to the city? Because if you have tertiary institutions, if you have, it's a long stride, yes, but if we start now, especially with the help of the international bodies and the government, I believe we can achieve it, and at the same time, we can have all the hands required to make sure that coffee does not die.
All agree? Yeah. I think that we are all agree on that for sure. We need to do something, and the responsibility is within the whole coffee chain, because the future, it's in the lands, it's in the origins, and we need to start doing something to bring more those new generations into the business, into the production, so that the coffee will have a good future for every one of us.
Just a quick one, and not unrelated to that really. I was really interested to see like your women's project that you've got, how many younger women you've got involved in that. Do you think, is it just like Tarazu where you're lucky that younger women are being involved in it, or do you think recognition of women's value in coffee potentially is a good strategy for that next generation engagement?
I think that yes, because in general, in the whole business, now you see more women being part of it. And right now, in terms of the young coffee producers, we are seeing that from that 300 women, I think that it's almost more than 30 to 40 that are very young women already part of the cooperative. And most of them, because they choose to be part of the business. The younger generations, we see that it's more that they have chosen to do it. With the other side of older women that took the farms because their husband passed away or because their father passed away, and they have to take it. And they have to struggle a lot more than the new generations that are starting to produce coffee. Some of them already have studies and went to the city, went to the university, and decided to come back to start working in the coffee farms. So it's quite interesting how in the 300s you can see a very big change in the world and in the generations and in the struggles that they have to face. And I think that there's still a lot of work to do, but the younger ones, we need to do something about it and to make more women to come into the coffee business, into production on the farms, because we can add a lot of good things to the business, as Jacqueline taught us later. So we think that there is still a lot of things to do for women in coffee, and we will be more and more each year, hopefully.
Well, I think that's all we've got time for. But yeah, from Dear Wakefield, thank you very much.
Thank
Keep
you
up the
very
good
much.
work. And,
Thank you.
so before we all let you free for some beer, we're going to let Simon say a final few words.
Once upon a time. Is that enough words? I think today has shown again what we in the coffee industry are about. And you're talking about the environment. The industry as a whole, I think, is very aware of what's going on in the world and applies different agricultural practices and looks forward to this. So I think we're in a good position going forward as an industry. We are all very keen to learn more about coffee. You know, that's the oil and that keeps this engine running. And the developments within that help new consumers come online and start to take it on board, because we're creating different flavors and different opportunities there. But at the end of the day, I think that every single time it comes back to the most important thing is the people. You know, if we don't have the producers, we don't have the next generation, we don't have the roasters, the whole community as a whole, we actually make this work. And it's great to be able to have so many people around who are passionate and interested and want to be here to learn from each other and share different ideas. It's not just about me, it's all about what can I do for it, how can I pass it on, how can I share. And I think that's really come through today. And everyone can, give a big pat on your back, because it's not easy to do, but it's been done today. So well done. Thank you very much for your attention. And we can't do this without you. People who travel thousands of miles, and they've gone quite tough journeys to get here today as well. So much appreciated that. And personally, I am doing something about the next generation. So having middle daughter join the business 2 years ago, but it is keep those generations coming. So we've spoken enough seriously about coffee, so I think it's probably time that we can go and wet the whistle and go and have something down the road. It's a 10-minute walk. Perhaps you'd enjoy us to come and have a glass of wine or a beer or whatever takes your fancy, and we can chat for the rest of the evening or as your time permits. Thank you very much. Thank you.